It's April, the sun is shining, the birds are singing. Could there be anything finer than being in the kitchen garden? Oh, it's such a gorgeous day, such a lovely day. So I thought I'd have a little catch up with you guys and give you a little tour of the plot at the beginning of April. Not a huge amount of change, but there are some changes. So nothing in this bed yet still. Probably in about 2 to 4 weeks I'll start sowing the parsnips in there. It's really lovely fine sifted soil that was underneath the shed that has been riddled, piled up, so it should make a lovely bed for the parsnips with masses of calendula in between again. I'm going to do 3 rows of parsnips this year because this bed's a bit shorter. At least a couple of rows of calendula, and this little area right at the end is where all my various flowers have self-sown last year, so the little seedlings and bits of colour are starting to come back. It's gorgeous. Excuse me, nothing happening here yet. There's just some chicken poo scattered on the top which needs digging in, but I'll prepare this bed for the chickpeas here, and then next door will be a couple of rows of quinoa. They won't actually go until mid-May, so there's no desperate hurry to get this bed sorted yet, but I will probably get onto it in the next couple of weeks or so, because I'm excited and want to get going. Then the spod trenches. So in the end I did do an extra row of, this is 2 rows of main crop. I was only going to do 1 row of main crop and 2 rows of new, but I decided to do an extra row of main because I won't have much starchy stuff in my diet come the winter, so that will help bulk out stews and beanie dishes in the winter if they grow. But actually, let me just bring you around this side. Can we see it? Where did I see it earlier on? Oh yeah. So the first, where is it? Is that picking up? The first little shoots are coming. Woo! So they went in about 2.5 weeks ago, which was really early for me to get anything in, so I'm absolutely delighted something's showing already. Back round this way. Oh, hello Shadow. It's a gorgeous day. The garlic are there. They're looking okay. They're going to come out probably mid-May, end of May, and then in here I'll have a bed for, at the top end I'm going to do a block of celery, and then at this end a block of celeriac, if my celeriac seeds come to anything. This bed is now prepared. Actually needs a bit more of a rako because again there's chicken poo on the top which needs raking in. But this will have at the far end some sweet corn, which I don't normally do because I don't like sweet corn. I know, shock horror. People are going to be mortified to hear that, but never mind. But the one I've been given from a friend in the States is specifically grown for the dry husks to then pop the kernels later on. And I was thinking, actually, that's probably a really good idea for me because what will I have as a snack? Either a little bag of popped corn to bring to the allotment, or if I'm watching a movie, something like that, because obviously, you know, if it's 8 o'clock in the evening and I fancy a snack, I don't want to be cooking up my veggie meals. So yeah, so a bit of sweet corn. Never grown it before, don't know how I'll get on, but we'll give it a go. And then at this end there will be edamame beans, possibly interplanted with some rock and core. Not sure yet where I'm going to fit the rock and core. I'm running out of space already. Over here we've got in the red onions with a mishmash of mesh. You try saying that. Mishmash of mesh. The mesh on the top is ostensibly to stop the pigeons and crows plucking out the freshly planted onions, but it's also to try and stop the foxes digging. Now, we're going to just skip about here a sec, because here are the white onions. They're all starting to sprout, hooray! Now these had tunnels on them to protect them from the foxes and the pigeons. But the foxes thought, if those dogs at Crofts can do an agility test through a tunnel, so can we. And they were mashing them every single night, so I ended up taking them off and hoping for the best. And so far, none of the onions have been plucked out. I had to replant a few where the foxes had been trampling and been naughty, but they seem to be doing okay, fingers crossed. An extra row of onions, sorry, the white and the red this year, because last year's ones are about to run out, I think, mid-May, so I obviously didn't do enough last year, so hopefully an extra row will see me fine. This bed in here, which again it's covered against the foxes, it's more of the lovely sifted soil from underneath the shed, and this year it's going to be 1, 2, 3 rows of carrots interplanted with 1, 2 rows of leeks, in the hope that the allium family will fight off the carrot fly and the carrot family will fight off the allium fly. That's the theory. Let's see if it works. I just can't get over how gorgeous it is today. Can you hear the birds? This bed has been dog, compost, chicken poo, the works added. Half of it will be for the squash pumpkins. Then coming to where the celery is at the moment, this is going to be cucumbers. And then the whole of this end will be, hopefully I'll get 4 rows of tomatoes in. I was actually in the process of clearing this whole bed from the winter crops, but the celery started to resprout. So I thought, actually, let's keep it because as I say, I'm running out of onions. The celery will be a really good sort of flavour for soups if I do run out of onions before my next onion harvest. So yeah, I won't be putting the cucumbers in here till at least, gosh, probably towards the end of May. So hopefully that will time right. I can keep harvesting the celery. And if it comes time to take it out, I will grab whatever's left, chop it up and freeze it, and keep using it in the absence of onions until the next onion harvest comes in. It's that time of year for grass cutting and weeding as well, isn't it? It's a lovely sight. No buds yet, but gorgeous, gorgeous colour on the leaves. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, the broad beans have been great. Now, when I planted them mid-October, I covered them. Again, it was to stop the foxes digging. But actually, I think it's given them a little bit of protection. I'm just going to try and get down on my knee now. Ow, 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 ow. Against the frost. And I think it's given them a bit of a head start. So, obviously I've taken the covers off now because once the flowers are producing, I want the bees to be able to get in and enjoy them. But just look at these gorgeous flowers. They're so pretty. I think sometimes we forget to look at the actual flowers on the veggies and just focus on the pods that are forming, but they're so gorgeous. And this is certainly the earliest I've had flowers on broad beans, and this is certainly the healthiest bed of broad beans I've ever seen at this time of year. So I think that's a note for the future, is give them just that little tiny bit of protection over the winter and they'll do grand. I have to say, I don't know if you can see it in the middle there, of course, since taking the covers off, the foxes have been in and smashed a few, but never mind, there's still going to be a good crop. I'm starting to put down the cardboard. Again, it's that time of year. Start to get the cardboard down on the paths to save on weeding, give us a bit of moisture retention. Yeah, I've got loads at home to bring down. And then, obviously, it's got rocks and bits on it at the moment. I've got some sort of like metal stakes I've made from some old wire, just to sort of pin it into the soil a bit so the foxes can't scatter it. Okay, so what's changed here? I love this time of year. Look. Sorry, I swung you all around a bit too fast then. The bean sticks are up. So I've got enough here for 6 rows. I'm trying 6 different beans this year. And a bit of bunting, of course. I will start doing some direct sowing in about 2 weeks. And then I'll basically do direct sowing every couple of weeks or so. In the hopes that I will have some to crop green to have over the summer, but then hopefully I'll have masses to have dry over the autumn. And yes, the tea rooms are open again. Hooray! So unfortunately nothing much is happening over here at the moment. I had hoped to get more done during my annual leave a couple of weeks in terms of building work, but we had really grotty weather, so I left it all alone. I was gradually getting rid of the rubble from underneath the shed. Grr. But the cold frame is now in action. I don't know if it's going to be able to pick up. And actually, the first of the little seeds are appearing. Oh, there's me again in my shadow. Hi everyone. A friend gave me 4 spare red cabbages the other day, so I need to get somewhere to put those in. But this is all the winter crops, and everything's starting to come up, which excites me no end. And then just in this other end, the first of the flowers. So I've got some, what have I got in there? I've forgotten now. Cochiana, echinacea, some cornflowers, some cosmos, all the lovely wee things I like to have around the garden. Great stuff. I need to obviously clear out the rest of the cold frame with this wood, but that is going to go into the shed, because hopefully in the next few weeks, once all the main planting is done. Hello, tomorrow's plot. So swing you around. Once all the main planting is done, either indoors, direct, or in the cold frame, then I can get on with this wee beastie, which I've sort of neglected for the last few months because, well, not last few months, last few weeks, because it gets to this time of year and actually it's far more important to get on with the soil jobs. But I don't know if it's going to show because it's so bright. Where I put the prime on last October, it's actually starting to flake already. So at the moment this is all just primer, so it's all going to need a top coat. It'll be the same colour, but definitely a top coat. And then inside we might have to wait a second to adjust for the light. Oh, nice and cool. So inside, all of this needs painting, which will happen at some point. All the shelves, etc. Then up here, can you spot what's not right? Hang on, let me get the angle right. My shelf is smiling. So this was just some MDF I grabbed out of a skip, and the steam from the kettle has made it bow and bend, top one the same. I now have some kind of solid pine that I can use instead, so that will be coming out. As I say, it's all part of the jobs to do once the focus is off the land, because all these seeds need to go in. Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. Once the shelves are painted, I'll also look at my muddy floor. I shall also be painting this. It's going to be grey like the outside. And hopefully it'll make it easy to sweep. Then the bench will be painted. Oh look, little ladybird came to say hello. Hello. And then I've got a nice sort of quite deep foam, almost you might call it a mattress, that I'm going to make some covers for to put on my bench, so that come high summer I can lean back here and have a nap in the afternoon after all my hard work in the garden. I've got a feeling there's going to be a lot of napping going on in the shed when I'm not sitting looking at that view. April, I do love you. Sunshine, birds. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye, cheerio, and I hope I will catch up with you all again really soon.